All right. This is the first episode of the Blue Peace Crew podcast. All right. So we're starting our channel, the Blue Peace Crew, and it's based off of our family. So we have a unique situation. We have 4 boys.
Right.
3 of which have been diagnosed on the autism spectrum. So we wanted to start a channel just to talk about some of the unique challenges that parents with autism face and, just provide some insight on, what that's like. And I know you'll have plenty to say on that. I go to work during the day, so you're with the kids pretty much all day, every day. So definitely want to get, your insight on that. But we'll have podcasts, we'll have vlogs, and just videos and things like that. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you want to see more content from us, make sure you check out our videos, check out the Facebook page, the Instagram, all of that. And stay up to date on everything that we're doing with the channel. All right. But today's video, we're going to be talking about kind of our story. So you guys can kind of get to know who we are, who our kids are, and how we came to become, I guess, what they call an autism family. I guess it is kind of a rare situation, we to have
multiples, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess the story starts. So I'm in the military. I was in the military started in 2013, 2012,
right.
2012.
Right.
And we were in the military, and that is where we had our first. That is not where we had our first child. We had our first child.
Yes, we did.
I was in the military.
Yeah. You were in boot camp.
I was in boot camp. Mm-hmm. So we got married. You got pregnant. Mm-hmm. I decided that I'm going to the military. Mm-hmm. And so I was in boot camp while you were pregnant. And then when I got out of boot camp, I went to AIT. Mm-hmm. And during AIT is when you gave birth to Junior.
Right.
So they let me go.
You were in the field, and they called you out and let you come out.
Right. Mm-hmm. So.
And then you had to go back. But anyway.
Hey, the military is rough. I mean, it's not all bad, but
at least you got to go, because some people don't even get to come to their children's birth. So yeah.
That's true. They did let me go. So, we had Junior, and I was in the military. We got stationed at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas.
Right.
And so, I guess early on, everything seemed normal.
Yeah, he was our first child. We really didn't.
Yeah.
No, we weren't like, oh, this milestone, this month, this milestone. We were just happy to have our baby, to have our first baby.
Yeah.
We were super excited.
When you have kids, you don't even really think, you're not even really thinking of anything like that.
No.
So, yeah, we were just excited.
Yeah.
And he was doing good. I know there were some things, I guess, that he did that at the time we didn't really know. So we thought
they were incredible, actually. Hooping, shooting the basketball goals and stuff.
Yeah, I played basketball growing up, so I brought him a little Fisher Price goal, and that was I bought him that, and he started playing on it, and he would. Yeah, throw the ball in the basket. He was really good at it.
Repeatedly, he was getting.
But he would do it repetitively, just over and over and over and over. And I was just that's just dedication. That's discipline, dedication, and desire. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
That's what I want to see.
Excited. Yeah.
So I was I got the next LeBron James. Let's go. So I don't know.
We didn't really think anything then.
No.
At all.
No.
But then, then I was pregnant with the twins. Then we found out we were having twins, and we were pregnant again. And so he was 18 months at that appointment. And then that's when it came out, they asked you all the questions through the, the checklist and everything. And then it came out about the talking. Mm-hmm. And that was the first thing. They're like, okay, so is he, 18 months, he's doing da-da-da-da. And it was so I'm answering, well, no. And I'm not even thinking nothing of it. I'm just answering the questions, and we're going to the doctor appointment. And then they bring it up like, well, he should be doing that or whatever. So then they're like, well, let's give it a few months and see what's going on. And the few months came and still nothing. So then they did start like the ECI, early childhood intervention. And they started like all the speech, PT, OT with him. We didn't have a diagnosis, nothing like that. It just started speech, PT, OT. Is that it? Yeah, that was it.
But like, I feel like you suspected it before we started all of that though, because I remember the first time you brought it up to me, like we were, just chilling, watching TV in the bed before, we actually went to sleep or whatever. Either that or it was like in the morning or something like that. I remember
before I had the twins.
Yes. And you were like, you don't think Junior's autistic, do you? And I remember me saying like, no, he's just quiet. Like he'll come around, like he'll start talking or whatever. Like I specifically remember that. For real.
I don't remember it, but
yeah, like I remember it like it was yesterday.
Okay.
Because I dismissed it, and then like then I started thinking like, he does have some ways about himself, like, But you never thought anything else further than that. Right. Because I didn't either. But then, honest. Like, that's when I was just like, let me just look this up. So, I went to YouTube, and I started looking up autism and signs and symptoms and stuff like that. And that's when it hit me. It was like, yo. But that was after I had the twins. No. Wait. That was after I had the twins. You're right. Because I was doing the same thing. You're right. Because I remember. Yeah. Well, okay. So then he had started those or whatever. And then we had the twins. And it was still kind of a wait and see type situation. And then wow. Okay. Yeah. So then we had the situation where his head was misshapen, remember? And the peds, I brought it up and then she was like, oh, wait it out. Then she comes around and it's, there's no improvement. And then she's like, oh no, we need to send you to the neuro. So then we finally get the referral to go to the neuro for that. And this is after we had the twins, because remember they had to put them under for the scan and everything. Mm-hmm. And so this is after we've had the twins. And then it was like, basically, it was the therapist, the speech therapist. She was awesome, but she approached us. Remember, she said, she's like, if you all don't mind, I want to sit down and talk to y'all. And then she said, she was like, okay, honestly, I'm not seeing any improvement. And she was like, she brought up, remember the M chat, and was like, if you don't mind, I want to go through these questions with you all to see, what we get back. Anyways, the M chat is like the questionnaire you go through with a child with autism, where you have to go through all those questions or whatever. So we went through it, and it was, it was coming back pretty positive on everything. Positive meaning bad. Yeah. And yeah, and so she was awesome though. Like she got us into the best ped on post. We got into him, and then like he started like just like rolling. Like, I'm gonna get you to this neuro. I'm gonna get you to this. I'm gonna do this. And then we're in the process of someone saying this is not gonna be his career anymore. And the man, he looks at us and he says, "Sir, you remember?" He says, "Sir, are you sure?" So, like, wait. I mean, you don't have to get too much depth in that, but I'm just, No, like, so at this point, and I don't know if I just wasn't, I think I was so, engrossed in, like, we just had, my job and everything like that. Because the stuff that you're saying now about the twins, like, I'm telling you, I was not aware that it was like to that point. Like I know they had the people come and helping them with, like some of the physical stuff or whatever, but I wasn't really paying them any mind because we didn't have a diagnosis for Junior at that point, but I was kind of like, okay, he might be autistic, but I was like, there's no way the twins are going to be autistic too. I was like, these people are just, they're just like, they're doing too much. So I was just like, I'm not worried about that. So I pretty much dismissed that. And so, yeah, like at that point, like I was just like over the military. Like
he was all work and your transition, like all the stuff you had to do.
Exactly.
And I'm like with these kids. So we have the twins, and then we go to their first appointment. Woo! And like Braden is just like turning up.
This is in El Paso still?
This is in El Paso. He is turning up to like 350 degree, like for real. And that doctor, she was so sensitive. Like she was like, oh no. She was like, I'm not giving this baby shots. I'm not messing with this baby. She was like, we got to check on this baby, make sure he's okay. Checking him. And she called me later that evening. Is he okay? Is he fine? I was like, wow. Bryce was pretty cool, which he has a cool temperament. That's just who he is or whatever. Yeah. I was hesitant because we already are looking at like, does our other child have autism or shot something to do? Like, I'm like, honestly, I don't know. I'm in between like, then they're like, well, we can do one, not the other. And I'm just like, no, we're not doing nobody. I'll be back. I don't know. But anyways, in that appointment, so just out the gate, they were like, it was their first appointment. They weren't meeting any type of milestones or whatever. It was just, she was just like, no, they weren't lifting, lifting the head. They weren't doing none of that. And she was just like, no. She was like just right away, she's like, we got to get this therapy, get it started. And then that's what you're talking about. And it's like a gang of people basically coming in the house 2 or 3 times a week and working with them while we're actually on the way to transition. Like, moving day was horrible. Like, what happened?
So that's
I had went off on the people at the Packers, remember? Because they had packed up.
I thought that was the day that you took Junior.
I got the results.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a bad day. They were packing. I was not in that mode for just packing. I'm up here finding out these children have these issues, these delays. I go get their test results from the scan, and it was just saying so much to me. Of course, I'm going to the internet with it as well. Mm-hmm. It was still nothing official, but It just didn't feel good, didn't feel right. And there was just too much going on with these 3 children, and we about to transition and not have a job and drive across the country. And
so yeah, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't want to say I've come a long way, but like I throughout this whole process, I've grown. Like
we both have.
So we have a little bit of an age difference. Like I'm a few years younger than you, mm-hmm. So I'm gonna maybe chalk it up to some of that. To be honest, I think this situation was really like the first time in my life that I really got hit with like real adversity. Yeah.
That's for the both of us. That's real.
Yeah.
That's real.
And so, like, I guess in my mind, I was thinking, everything normally works out. I mean, I've had a couple of nicks and bruises here and there, got cut from varsity basketball, but I bounced back, made the team next year. Everything is going to be fine. I'll come back. I mean, you know what I mean? The kids are going to be fine, I'll go to Charlotte. I'm tired of this military. I want to be closer to family. I'm going to go to Charlotte. I'll get a job there. I've always been able to get a job and, provide for my family. It's no big deal. And it was a big deal. Like, this was, this was a unique situation. It was a real situation. But at that point, leaving El Paso, in my mind, like I said, I really wasn't paying attention to like the twins having an issue at all. Like, and they were coming to the house doing these therapies and everything. I really wasn't paying attention to that. I think I was so taken aback by June. Like, I'm still reeling from finding out that my firstborn
possibly could, yeah,
has a very good chance of being autistic. Like, that's, you know what I mean? So like, I wasn't even thinking about the twins at that point like that. So yeah, so we moved.
It wasn't that a journey?
Yeah, we moved
screaming
back to
and hollering.
Oof,
all the way.
That was a trip, man. Like, oh my goodness, I'll never forget pulling up. Where was that? New Orleans. Mm-hmm. That night we got to New Orleans late. Obviously, like, now knowing that our children are on the spectrum, we know how to travel. We know that you need to be stopping around 4 or 5 o'clock, and getting to the hotel and getting them settled. At that point, we don't know anything about autism, so I'm pushing. Like, that's just how I do. So I'm like, I think we had planned to stop in Baton Rouge, But we got there and I was like, man, I'm good. You think we could go a couple more hours? I got this. So we drove all the way to New Orleans. It's like 9, 10 o'clock at night. I'm talking about all 3 of the kids screaming at the top of their lungs like bloody murder. And I'll never forget, we went to Checkers and we went through the drive-thru, and I just pulled up to the drive-thru window and rolled the window down. They are screaming. And she just looked at me kind of like that look like, I feel so bad for you. And I know I had to have looked like the weight of the world was on my shoulders. Like I looked tired, and they're just screaming in my ear. So
it didn't even stop when we got to the hotel room, remember?
No, got to the hotel room, more screaming, like, whew.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Yep.
It was rough.
So where are we at? We finally make it back, I guess. So then when we eventually get settled, get a job, we do some more early intervention. I mean, we're going through it was just a rough time. Getting a job. Let's see, finally getting some benefits.
So
Excuse me.
I'm just put it out there because I've come a long way. So my brilliant plan was to get out the military and go work at CarMax and sell cars. I said, I'm going to get out of the military. I can go as hard as I can possibly go. Babe, if you could just handle the kids, I'll sell a bunch of cars and, we're going to be swimming in dough. Let's go. All right. So we get to Charlotte. I go interview at the CarMax in Charlotte, and I didn't get the job. So there was no there was no thought in my mind that I wouldn't get the job. I'm not sure why. I still am not sure why I didn't get it, but I didn't get the job. So now I don't really have a plan B. So I started applying to other CarMaxes. I applied to one even in Raleigh. I think I applied to the one in Greenville, Columbia. I was just applying anywhere. I was determined to work at CarMax for some reason. So got an interview they were opening a new CarMax in Raleigh. So I drove up there, interviewed for that, got the job. I was like, hey, babe, great news. I got the job. Now all we have to do is move to Raleigh.
Right.
And at this point, we're staying with my sister. We moved to Charlotte, and we stayed with my sister. She has a husband and a child. So now, how many people is that? I'm not good at math. At the time, we were 5 deep plus 3. So we got 8 people living in a house. And it wasn't a small, tiny house, but it's not a mansion either.
Right.
So we're cramped in her house. And so, I'm like, hey, babe, we're going to be moving to Raleigh. So at that point, the military mover still had our stuff. So we had to call them and be like, hey, instead of, I know we said we were going to Charlotte. Turns out we're actually going to Raleigh. Can you take our stuff to Raleigh? So they did for a nominal fee.
We paid for that?
Yeah, I think we had to pay a little. I think we had to pay about $175.
I didn't know we paid for that. Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
So they took our stuff to Raleigh. We moved in it was a nice apartment, but it was a 2-bedroom apartment.
I couldn't stay nowhere that wasn't right, so we found a nice place, but it was 2 bedrooms.
It was only 2 bedrooms.
Right.
It was nice,
but it was little children, so they were like babies.
Right,
so,
we could get away with it at the time, so it was cool. So I'm working at CarMax. That did not go well at all.
Whew, a daily grind.
Yeah, that's
it was like a daily grind of hopelessness.
Let me tell you.
You grind for no hope again today.
And there's people that do it. Your brother does it, and he's very good at it.
Yeah. But totally different situation.
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if it was because it was a new store. I don't know if I'm just not that persuasive, although I did get you to marry me. So, I don't know. But it wasn't popping off for me like that.
It was kind of a hard thing because the location, they had multiple stores in the area. It wasn't like a win-win. You're popping up in a new situation.
You're right. It was a new store, and then the big store in Raleigh that had been there for a long time was on.
There was a lot going on there.
Yeah, so there weren't a whole lot of people that were coming to the store. But it wasn't like I was in a situation where we have like two incomes, and so I can, afford to wait it out until the crowd starts to come over to the news store. Like, nah, we needed that bread like right then.
Yeah,
and
and
there.
then the benefits was taking all your checks. So
Exactly. We didn't have the military benefits anymore. So all of our, half the check was going to that.
and then you had to pay the check back and all. I don't even want to get into that with sales, but whatever.
Yeah, and it was 100% commission. Like, again, I harp back to this is where I was at right now. Like, I am a man with 3 kids, one of them with a, potential disability. On
2 more behind, but you don't really realize
We
it.
didn't know that was coming. And here I am taking a job with 100% commission. So yeah, needless to say, that did not go well. I lasted maybe 3 months there, and I quit. So after that,
And then we finally, then you was on the path to finding some more job, find another job.
yeah.
In between that, though, man, it was just really bogged down. I mean, just trying to get finances. Really kind of struggling in that aspect. And then in between, you kind of working with the twins. You might not have thought much about it, but they were not crawling. They were not meeting no milestones. I remember you being on the floor on your days off, like literally like moo, trying to give them the moo, trying to sit them up in different ways.
Everything,
and
I remember getting a little cookie pan, and putting Bray's hands on them just so it would slide, and maybe he would like crawl behind it. Like I was trying everything.
Sure did.
But so yeah, and we had some rough times, yo, in Raleigh. That apartment, like I remember that winter like it was yesterday, man. Like I call it the coldest winter ever. Like we had to cut off the cable. We had to we ain't buy nobody nothing for Christmas.
Oh,
did we get the kids Christmas gifts at all that year?
Oh no, you didn't do nothing.
We couldn't do anything. So
you did nothing for nobody.
Yeah. Like that one time, I didn't know how that rent was gonna get paid. I still don't remember how I ended up paying that rent.
A tax refund.
The tax refund came in
at the ninth hour for real.
For real. Like they had put the note
That's
on the door.
That's exactly right.
And we got a tax refund. My last tax refund from my military time, and it came through clutch because it was a grip, and that thing saved us. That thing saved us. So anyway. We
started the work from home.
We started the work from home jobs because they were like, we can't afford daycare.
So then I was like, I guess I'm gonna work too.
Right. So you went ahead and got a job.
And then that's just horrible. We both working from home, and it's just day and night. Somebody got a day shift, somebody got a night shift.
Yup.
We had no daycare. We had to watch our children.
It was we was at Enterprise. It was both working.
Eventually. It wasn't the first, but
we had a couple of jobs that we had just to take work from home jobs or whatever. They didn't last long, but then we found out with Enterprise, which was decent pay, and it was an easy job. So that worked, but it didn't work. Like it wasn't a good situation. Like we only had
right.
It wasn't a good situation.
We were still struggling.
So
we were happy to have the jobs, though. I think.
Yeah. But anyway, we pushed through. We toughed it out. And then what happened?
So.
We decided we wanted to move back to Charlotte.
We decided we wanted to move back to Charlotte, and then what you call it? You call it grind mode. We were in straight grind mode, and we didn't do nothing but save money.
Yeah, we saved up our money. Yeah. We figured out, how much we needed to move to Charlotte and pay the security deposit on a house or something like that to rent a house.
Yeah, we just worked and did OT when you could.
Yeah, we was hitting OT up. Yeah. We was doing everything. So we saved up our money. And we made the move back to Charlotte. We had work from home jobs, so that was the good thing about that.
We just moved,
we just moved and kept our jobs or whatever.
True.
And So in Charlotte is, I think, when I really started noticing. Well,
actually, but let's talk about before we moved. Then we found out I was pregnant again.
Oh.
And then, did we have benefits at that time? Because there was a time where it was bad.
Bruh.
It was a struggle. Woo!
Bruh. Yeah, that was like right when we was in grind mode. We were starting to set aside some money.
Feeling like things were looking up.
Things were kind of looking up. We was getting pretty good at the job at Enterprise. And then, bam, she hit me with the...
Yeah. And then it was, that's right. We had just got benefits. That's what it was. We had just got benefits. And I was like, I'm going to get my tubes tied. Remember?
Yup. Because we was done. Like, we love little Braxton. But we was done. But we ain't had no benefits. So we ain't have no way for her to get her tubes tied. We didn't have no money to do that.
And then we finally got them.
Yeah, we finally got benefits. Because it didn't kick in until, 30 days or something like that? And bam, I got the text. And it was like, bruh, we got a child on the spectrum. We got the twins who, we didn't know for sure. You probably were leaning toward it more than I was. But
I wasn't even thinking about it. It was far from my mind because I was so in grind mode with you. We was working. I didn't even realize I was pregnant. I did not think nothing about being pregnant. How did that even come about? Because I didn't think anything about being pregnant. I'll just be honest with you. We were just so busy working, taking care of the kids, the daily grind every day. It wasn't like I was like, oh my God, I feel sick. Oh, is this late? I didn't even realize I was late. I think you're the one. I think you were like, did you get your period this month? Like, I don't even think I realized it.
And I was just joking. Like, you know what I mean? I was joking. I didn't really think that, like, man. And this is probably too much information. We wasn't getting it in like that at this point.
That's true, too.
Like, we really wasn't. Like, we was struggling. We was stressed. Like, I don't know when we conceived Braxton because... you have rust spots in your marriage. It is what it is.
We were tired.
We was tired, man. We was working and trying to
go to sleep.
Bruh. It was rough. So anyway.
I know. So that, I guess, one random time it happened.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So then we moved.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got another child on the way. And so yeah, we moved back to Charlotte. And it's cool. Now we're in a decent house, 4-bedroom, still renting or whatever, but it's a decent sized house, closer to some family, and in Charlotte, that's where I'm from, so I was happy about that. And that's when I think I really started noticing the twins, because now, they're 2, coming up on 2, and they're not doing anything. Like
they don't even know you're in the room. Right. Like, do you exist?
Right. You know what I mean? And I think, we just kind of didn't pay as much attention to it because, like you said, like we were scraping and clawing just to survive at the time.
Now things were
kind of slowing down and getting more stable. And we're like,
say hey.
Babe, when I talk to the twins, like, do you feel like they are like understanding you at all, or even like, nah? It's like talking to a brick wall.
Addressing you, nothing.
Right? They don't listen to anything you tell them to do. They don't, come over to you and show affection of any kind.
They weren't picking up like any skills.
They weren't doing anything. They finally started walking.
Yeah, they started pulling up and walking.
In Charlotte, and they were, how old were they?
14, 15, 16.
They were late.
Yeah, it was like, everything was late.
It was late. And so, I'm thinking like, I started really thinking about Junior, because, when did we get the diagnosis for Junior?
You hadn't gotten a diagnosis
No, we
yet.
still didn't have a diagnosis for Junior.
No.
Because we couldn't get an appointment, which is a major issue. Anyone who has children with autism, I'm sure it's hard to get that diagnosis because it's normally a really long wait.
18 months, 2 years.
It was like 18-month, 2-year wait list, and it's like it's a critical time.
But we hadn't even got to that point yet. We finally, like, things are getting better. We're getting better jobs, better schedules. And then I do reach out to early intervention again about evaluating the twins. So anyways, I'm pregnant with this other baby. I'm off work. Did I take off or I was off at that time? I don't remember. No, I think it was my day off. They're coming here for hours evaluating these children. And then they're going to tell me, we think they're fine. They just need some speech therapy.
And by that point, like, we knew something was wrong. Now, because I remember, like, I remember when I first, like, I think realized for sure because I was watching him for a while, and then it was one day I was off, and I was just watching him, and I was watching Bray, and he was just rocking like all day, and Bryce was doing some stimulatory behaviors and stuff like that, and I mean, at that time I still wasn't sure, I guess. So I started, just like with Junior, I went to YouTube because their signs were a little bit different than Junior's. Junior, like, he was like doing like the stacking the blocks, he was lining up the cars and the stuff like that. So the twins weren't really doing any of that stuff. So I was like, you know, I didn't really pay attention to it for a while. But then I started noticing some of the weird stuff that they, you know, or interesting stuff that they were doing. And I YouTubed that. So I YouTubed the rocking, and I YouTubed some of the stuff that Bryce was doing. And I saw kids doing the exact same thing that were autistic. And it was just like that was like one of the worst days of my life. Like, I'll never forget that day. And I just remember, like, I remember we got Japanese that night.
Yeah, it was your day off.
It was my day off. So
because we still, it was better shifts, but they were kind of odd.
They were still alternating. Like, there was never a day when we were both off, I don't think, at the same time.
And then it was like somebody working day, somebody working night. And
somebody was working during the day, the other person would work night. So it was still, like, not a good situation overall, but it was literally, our bills were paid.
Yeah.
So, like, I went to go get the Japanese, and it was just like, you know, I've always been, you know, a man of faith. I was raised, you know, in the church and went to Victory Christian School, went to Oral Roberts University. Like, so I've always had a strong relationship with God. But that was like, that was the first, like, man, I'll never forget driving to go get that Japanese food. Like, I screamed and I cursed at God the entire way there. I got out of the car, calmly got my Japanese food, was ever as politeful as I could possibly be, smiled, got back in the car, and I screamed at God the entire way back to the house. And it was just like, you know what I mean? Like, what did I do? You know, like, why is this happening to me? Like, not one. Like, one, okay, cool. Hey, we all have struggles. This is what they talked about in church. You know, you make it through. 3? All 3 of my kids to this point look like they're going to be autistic, and I got one on the way, and I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, what's going to happen? So that's when it just really started to hit, you know, the gravity and the, you know, of the situation.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, and we'll discuss that in more depth in other videos.
But after that, what did we do? We went back to the peds and we told her, we were like, you know, we are concerned. And we laid it all out for her, and she was like, okay. And what did she do? She put the referral in, so we got on the wait list. Again, you know, 18-month, 2-year wait list. So we're just waiting. In between, we're talking to family, and, you know, family, they want the best for you. They not really there all the time, maybe to see everything or to know and understand. There's like, oh, we don't think nothing's wrong. It's probably just late bloomers, just. Right.
And that's another topic that we'll, you know, talk about on other videos. But, like, that's something that parents with autism really face and deal with. Like,
Especially in our culture too. Yeah.
Especially, I think in our culture, being African Americans, I think we face it more so because I think we're more hesitant to,
That's right. Go to the doctor. We're gonna more keep it in, and we're gonna pray about it,
and that's with autism. That's with other mental health.
That's true. It's not just
situations and things like that. That's even with counseling. Period. Like sometimes people need to go to marriage counseling, and they don't go because they feel like, you know what I mean? Like,
let's go to the preacher.
Yeah, like
which is not to say you don't need that, because you do.
Absolutely.
But sometimes situations may.
There's nothing wrong with marriage counseling.
Right, that's true.
Sometimes you just need that mediator.
Or any other counseling.
Other counseling. Like mental health is very important.
Very important.
And I think sometimes our culture, especially, like
we dismisses
it and pushes it to the side. Yeah. So I say that to say, if you, feel any type of way about your kid as far as their development and their milestones, and if you trust your gut, that's right? True. Don't listen to family or friends or anybody else saying, "Oh, don't worry, my child." If I had a nickel for how many people told me, "Oh, don't worry, my child, he didn't talk till he was 3, and now he's perfectly fine, he's normal." Like, yo, your child better than anybody else. Like, you are around them 24/7. You know as a parent when something is not right.
Because we knew, despite what everyone was saying to us, we knew. And then, well, that's probably another video too, because then you kind of feel a little isolated sometimes, even with your family. And they love you. They're not doing anything to you, but in a way, you feel a little isolated because when you're bringing it up, and it's kind of like, oh no, ain't nothing wrong, and it's like love though,
right? Them. Like it's all love. It's all like they want the best for you, but when you're in the situation on this side of it, it's kind of like
it's hard. It's a little rejecting. It's kind of
tough.
Kind of like rejection.
Because I'm like, dude, like I'm not going crazy. I know something is wrong with my child. Like, and so like and
just like the assessment from the ladies, I'm like, no, like we knew something else. Like we just didn't take this. Like, oh, okay, well, it's all good. We'll see you next year. Like, goodness, we were like, no, we knew something was wrong.
Right.
We knew something was wrong with, and so that's why we took the next step. And we were like, no, we got to get that referral and try to get them in to be seen.
Yep.
So, I mean, we went through all of that. Just looking at different things. I remember the lady called me about the appointment. I went off on the lady. I was having a really bad day that day. I went off. I was like, why? I was like, why is the wait so long? Why is all this happening to all these children? And she was like, ma'am, I'm sorry. She was like, everybody in the state is trying to come see the doctor and everything. And I just calmed down. I'm just like, yeah, it's a lot of people, a lot of us going through this. Whether some people don't even speak about it. But, whether you know or not, you really don't know what's going on in someone's home or what they're going through, with their children, with their family or whatever. So we just have to be sensitive about that and be thoughtful about that. But we, so we were just on a wait. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hit you. We were just on a wait list, just waiting, hoping we can get in. But then somebody, you went through some jobs. They weren't bad jobs. They were okay jobs. They were, good or whatever. But, you went through a change though in the meantime.
Yeah, went through
oh God.
So we were at Enterprise and I left Enterprise for a better position.
Yeah. Better money, everything.
Yeah, it was actually a really good position. Far better money. And I was like, oh shoot.
Yep.
We done made it, God, you've made a way.
Yeah.
Everything is going good. And then I got fired.
Just like that, for real.
Yeah, and it was literally like the most bizarre. I've never been fired from a job in my life.
And
it was.
We're not even gonna go there, but even the reason and all that was
it was totally bogus. And like with the call center jobs, like you have like authentication requirements and stuff like that. And I don't know, like I don't even remember.
Yeah. So that's what they supposedly.
Supposedly they got me on some authentication thing, and it was just totally bogus. Like,
And I'm all like, it was crazy. I'm like, are we going to fight this? I'm all like, do you want to fight this? I'm pregnant. No. I had just had the baby. I had just had the baby.
Yo, that's what
because I was on maternity
about
leave. It was, ooh.
Like, she had the baby. I only took, 1 day off of work?
Yeah.
And I came right
He didn't take no
back.
time off.
Took no time off.
1 day.
And
I
this.
didn't even have maternity leave. We had to save money just for me to, remember? Like, we were so tight, once again, saving money just for me to be off.
Yup.
Because we didn't have no maternity leave, nothing like that.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And I was like, I was lit. Like, I was like, are we going to fight this? What you want to do? Go to AJ. And you was, I don't know, a calmness or something.
It was crazy. Like, somehow, some way, like, out of nowhere, I got, like, a piece about it. Like,
yeah. You was like,
it was for a reason.
Yeah. You said that.
Like,
because I couldn't see it. I was like, I don't see it.
It was, I still don't know how I got that piece and how, like, I knew that there was a reason behind it. Because at that point, like, you got to think, I done found out that my firstborn, there's a good chance he's autistic. The twins are looking like they are autistic as well. Right. You know what I mean? Like, and it feels like I finally got a good position and a good job, and like we're gonna be able to, do everything that we need to do. Mm-hmm. And then I get fired. So it's just like my first instinct is like, God, what are you doing? Like, why? Mm-hmm. But out of nowhere, I just had a piece about it, like, that he was in control of the situation. So yeah, I went and where did I get a job at? Red Ventures or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
And then that was another sales position. And so, yeah, that didn't last long. I don't know why I kept going to these sales positions. But anyway, so I left there and I went to Allstate.
Yeah.
And I worked there for a little while, but it was just like, I just knew that I had to do something like to get us in a better situation. Because, I mean, Allstate was okay, but I was working, you were working.
That's true.
We were still barely, just had enough money to pay our bills. I was working the late shift. I was getting off at 10 o'clock at night.
That's true.
And you would work during the day because we couldn't afford daycare.
Yeah.
And we were never off at the same time. So no family time, no family outings or anything like that. Nope. And, we had a lot of money going towards the benefits and stuff like that. And we knew that there was going to be more to come, with the boys in their situations. So
that's true. A lot more.
At the time, I was on like full chunky. Like I was at like 232 pounds.
Oh my God.
And I said, you know what? I need to get back in the military. As much as I hated it, as much as it got on my nerves, like, we need them benefits. We need that stability. So, yeah, like, I went crazy. Like, I went on a crazy diet. I started working out.
You sure did.
Every single day. I lost 40 pounds. And I walked into the recruiter's office. I was like, God.
Before you went in?
Yeah, before I went in, I was like, God, if you still got a plan for my life, any kind of plan for my life, when I go in this recruiter's office, please let them tell me that I can get back in. Because it's not a guarantee that you can get back in. You get out of the military.
That's true.
So, yeah, I was praying the whole way there. I go in, and I was like, hey, I was in the military before. I got out or whatever. I was like, is it possible for me to get back in? I was like, yeah. I mean, you got to pass a PT test, but as long as you can do that.
They had looked at your, your paperwork.
Duty 214.
Certain codes or whatever.
Yeah. So I was like, bet. So I'd already lost a bunch of weight and I was in decent shape. I started training even harder after that. And I took the PT test. I smashed it.
Exactly. Like when you told me, you were like, I'm going to, I'm like, please God. And then you get the yes. And then, the rest is from there. You got, a million steps to go through. But anyways, yeah.
But after that, it was like, yeah, exactly. It was a million steps.
Yeah.
But they were like, oh, you're good. Just, you got to fill out the paperwork, do all the stuff, get processed back in. I was like, yes. Yeah. So like, man, that was good. That was a good day. So
we went through it. You had to go through the process. It's just several things you gotta do to get back in the military or whatever.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Then we had to wait a little bit after everything was done. We had to wait, and we were kind of in limbo, like, are we going or not? Then we kind of was making a plan, like, if we're not going, we're gonna do this. And
no, I went to MEPS.
I know.
I went to MEPS.
Yeah.
And so, part of getting back into the military,
physical.
They do a physical on you. They check you from head to toe. So they were checking me out or whatever. Mm-hmm. And on the bottom of my foot, I have plantar fascia. Is it plantar? I don't think it's that. I forget what it's called now. But anyway, it's it's an injury that you get from doing a lot of running. And so I got it from the first time I was in the military or whatever.
He's not bothered by it, at all.
It doesn't hurt at all. It's just I don't know. But yeah, your foot kind of swells up in the ball of your foot a little bit. And so they saw that. Yeah, it
happens to a lot of runners.
Yeah, it's like a running injury. Common, actually. So yeah, they were like, yeah, you're going to have to get that removed in order to get back in the military or whatever. And I'm like, bruh, at that point, I had actually canceled my benefits at Allstate because
you knew it was moving forward.
We were getting back in the military. So I was like, man, hey, I'm going to save this couple $100, and I'm canceling these benefits. That was dumb. So I was like, yo, I can't afford to get this removed. I don't have the bread for that. So, yeah, I told you, and we were just like, yo, this actually might not work. We were right here, but this might stop us.
Yeah, because you were kind of what? You were like, I don't know, you were at a cross where it's like, oh my gosh. And I'm kind of like, well, what do we need to do? And I'm just like, well, I guess you're going to take a credit card and go to the doctor and we're going to do something. So whatever. Because you're right, you had to pay cash for that. Right. So they told you that you're going to go to the doctor and get a full report. You had to they were going to dismiss it, but they had to hit everything from a doctor to get it dismissed or something or approved.
No,
but that wasn't a guarantee.
They wanted me to get it removed is what they really wanted. Right. So
But you had to go to a doctor you had no options.
I immediately went straight to a podiatrist.
You sure did? Yep.
Podiatrist. Mm-hmm. And, he looked at it. He was like, does it hurt? I was like, nah, it doesn't hurt. He was like, okay. He was like, we can give you a shot, a cortisone shot, if you want. But he was like, or I could just write you a note saying it's just I forget what the wording is, but it's like a tumor, but what you call it, tumor?
Benign.
Benign.
Yeah.
Benign was the word. It's the equivalent of a benign tumor. It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's not.
Because he didn't think it was a big deal. He didn't see no problem of cutting your foot open over something that's not even
there's no point.
Yeah.
So, he pressed on it. He was like, if it hurts, I'll be able to see it in your face. And I literally didn't feel anything. So it wasn't, there was no reaction. So, yeah. So he wrote a note or whatever saying it was just benign or whatever.
He wrote a full report, not a note.
Yeah. He wrote a detailed report.
It was 30 page,
Yeah, he was like, come back in 2 days and I'll have your report or whatever. Yeah. So I got that, took it back to MEPS. They were cool. Got back in the military.
We had to wait a little. Right. Long story short, we had to wait a little bit.
Long story short, we had to wait a little bit, but I got back in the military.
We were kind of like, are we doing something else? Then you get the call, and we're like, no, this is what we're doing.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So got back in the military. I got Fort Drum, which was literally the last duty station I would have ever picked, but hey, it was what it was. We needed them benefits.
Yeah.
So we
He
rolled
needed
up.
the job. He needed it all.
Yeah.
So what? Long story short, I mean, we got in. We had to do a crazy move. What was it? Within a week? It was a couple of days. You went.
I went to MEPS on Wednesday. We had to be at Fort Drum on Friday. So we had one day.
Yeah. He's like, you called me. He's like, you ready to move to New York? I was like, yeah. I was like, sure. Where we going? You like, you ready to go in?
You ready to go like right now? Like start packing as I'm talking to you on the phone. Start packing.
I was like, whoa. I was like, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, we moved up to Fort Drum and we got settled and everything like that. And we started having the appointments for the boys and everything like that. So we expressed our concerns about Junior and the twins.
And they moved.
Things started moving.
Yeah, they were like, okay, well, they were like, it's a closer location. We can get you in
Syracuse.
Syracuse, the closer location, like an hour away, and you couldn't get in for 2 years. And they're like, but if you're willing to travel, we can get you in a few months. If you're willing to travel to DC to go to Walter Reed. And I'm doing it. Look how much we've already done for the children. We drove up there. We moved and how was that snow? Like 10, 15 feet of snow.
Right.
I never seen in my life.
Right.
So yeah, we're willing to do it. I'm like, yeah, we'll travel.
Absolutely.
And so we, it was like
8-hour drive.
Yeah, it was like 2 months, and we got the appointment in May, and we went. 8-hour drive. Went to Walter Reed and did a series of tests, and
it was like the doctor was just like, no question.
No question. She was looking at us like, let me handle them carefully. Y'all know what this is, and we're kind of like, we've already pondered it, man.
Right. Like she was like super concerned about, delivering the news to us.
Yeah, she was.
Like, ma'am.
Because the way we took it, she was kind of surprised, like, you understand. It's going to be a lot of therapies and stuff going on. Like, yes, ma'am. Yeah.
But yeah.
Had to do all this paper. We were there all day. From like 8 to 5, for real. We were there her whole shift. We was with her.
Yep.
Had to do all the paperwork. You have all the, paperwork and stuff you had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And,
because actually, that appointment was actually just for the twins.
Yep.
But she saw the situation and she was like, oh, no, she didn't even know about Junior, but she was watching him.
I told her.
You told her, and then she was watching. She was like,
I told her, I was like, we need to get him in too. And whatever. I told her about that. And she peeped him out. She was very on top of it.
Go ahead. Go get some lunch. Come back. And I'm going to knock him out.
She told us go get some lunch. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to come back and evaluate him too.
We was like, thank you. So we don't have to bring our tails back down here. But yeah, she saw the situation, man. She was like, this is real. Let me help him out. So she went ahead and evaluated you. So we got all the diagnoses and everything.
It was official.
Yeah. And then you got on it and got them set up for everything.
Yeah. We were in a location where, oh man, you didn't have many options for therapy.
No.
So I don't even know what we did. We went through the school, right? We went through the school for like OTPT and speech, I think. Did we? Or was that private? No, maybe it was a private company. I don't remember. And at first it was a private company, then we went to school. Anyways, you did not have ABA therapy is like the top therapy for them, which thank God the military covers all this, but we didn't even have options. We only had like 2 options up there. So, and one had a super long wait and one didn't have a super long wait. We were able to get in, and yeah, that's another video just talking about all of that. But anyways, all those ups and downs.
Right.
But yeah, so we finally got started, and yeah, the rest is history. Here we are now.
Here we are. We were at Fort Drum, had the therapies there, and then we got stationed here at Fort Hood. Moved down here a couple of months ago. It's a lot better.
Way
Fort
better.
Drum was in the wilderness. We had to travel to do anything.
Yeah, all the specialists. Yeah, we had to travel hours to see everybody.
And all the specialists were like in our house, like all day, every day.
Woo! Yes. So, Eventually we had all the therapy. Yeah.
Yeah.
At home. Yeah.
So now they are in clinic. The twins actually just started this week. We'll have a vlog on that.
Yeah.
And Junior is going to school.
Yeah.
And he gets some supplemental, I guess, help in school. But
Accommodations.
Some accommodations. But he's in a normal classroom.
He's in general. So he's in general.
Doing good.
Yeah.
And here we are. So, I mean, that's pretty much the, and this is like an hour video, but that's kind of the short.
Because
it's still right.
Yeah.
It's still the short version of our story.
Right.
Braxton, by the way, is our fourth, and we're not 100% sure about him yet. But
I think he's, I think he's good.
You think he's good? I hope he's good. We'll see.
I mean, you don't go to all these dozen appointments that I go to, so yeah.
We'll see. I certainly hope so. But
exactly.
You guys will be on the journey along with us, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, the purpose of this channel hopefully is just to just show what our life is like, having several kids on the spectrum, and just to provide like, it's not just going to be all serious and dreary the entire time. We are going to tackle some important topics, but I guess the big takeaway that I hope this channel provides is like, it doesn't mean like your life is over. You know what I mean? Sure. Like, as a parent, I think you can really get down and be like, oh, this didn't turn out how I thought it would turn out.
Because we definitely went through that.
Absolutely. And you go through that.
And you have to go through those steps. And there's nothing wrong with that. You need to go through those steps.
Absolutely.
Like,
there's absolutely a grieving period, and that's perfectly normal. So I'm not here to say, oh, don't grieve and don't feel any type of way about it.
Don't let anybody tell you that either.
Not at all. Not at all. But you can there's still beauty in parenting a child with autism. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a struggle, but there's beauty in the struggle, and you can still live life and still be ambitious and still have goals and have, a beautiful marriage. Like, I know statistics show like a lot of marriages don't make it when they have children with autism. And that's one thing that was big for me. I'm like, no, I don't care. Like, I took those vows to you, babe, and I'm going to carry those out, because the vows say in sickness and in health, for better or for worse. So this might not necessarily be better. I won't necessarily call it worse, but it's not the best. But either way, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm staying in this thing, and we're going to not just stay together, but have a thriving, wonderful marriage.
Right.
And
that's
so
true. That is true.
That's what I hope people take away from this channel. I hope you guys enjoy our journey and get something from it. And more to come.
Definitely more to come. Definitely.
All right. Well, that's our story. This is our first podcast on the Blue Peas Crew channel. We've got some blogs coming. And a whole bunch of other content that we're going to be dropping as well. So we hope that you guys hit that subscribe button so that you are notified anytime that we have any new content. And I hope you guys will take this journey with us. We'll see you guys next time.